Now, in rolling back President Obama's policies, President Trump said today it is time for Cuba to make drastic changes in how it treats its people. When President Donald Trump announced those changes in policy towards Cuba today, it was in front of an enthusiastic crowd of people in Little Havana. CBS 12's Maxine Bensel spoke with some of them. She joins us live now in Miami. Maxine, what was the reaction from folks here you were talking with?
Greg, they were very happy, cheering and clapping as the president gave the speech in the theater right here behind me. One woman I spoke with says she's hopeful for the future of Cuba.
He's proving now that he is the president who's going to stand by his word.
Lisa Sacco is one of dozens of Cubans who gathered at the Manuel Artime Theater in Miami's Little Havana for President Donald Trump's remarks on Cuba policy. She says the president made a promise to the Cuban people in Miami during his campaign, and he lived up to it by reversing President Obama's policy on Cuba.
After President Obama placed those executive orders, things have gotten worse on the island of Cuba.
Sacco says the Cuban community in Miami believed things would improve, but they didn't. She says the dramatic change in policy announced by President Trump today is just what Cuba needs.
I do feel that we need to focus on human rights, and until that country is having free elections and the people are able to freely start businesses and organize and have free community and free access, then you'll see a prosperous Cuba.
The president announced travel restrictions to the island. Now any travel that is not for educational purposes will be limited to group travel. That means individual travel as it is now will no longer be permitted. Sacco doesn't believe Cuba is a place where the U.S. should support tourism because the people of Cuba aren't benefiting from the tourist dollars.
Cuba is not a place that you would go vacation. It's a third world country. There isn't food for the people of Cuba, but there's food for the tourists.
Now, those changes will not go into effect until the regulations are issued. That could take up to 30 days, and from there until it's finalized, it could take a few more months for this new policy to take effect. Coming up on CBS 12 News at 6, we spoke with a woman who isn't as happy about Trump's new policy on Cuba. Live for now in Little Havana, Maxine Bensel, CBS 12 News.